Well, I am delighted to say that joining me on the Godcast today is, well, in my eyes, he's a comedy legend. It's the one and only Duncan Norvelle. Duncan has been on TV many times over the years, and in the 80s and the 90s was on the TV most weeks, very frequently, and went on to perform in theatres all across the country. And Duncan, it's great to welcome you on the Godcast. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Alex. Fine.
Whereabouts in the world are you, Duncan?
I live in Romford in Essex.
Is that always been home, or
Just
have you?
that. No. I used to live in Nottingham. I moved from Nottingham. I went to where did I go after that? Leicester, and then I moved down here just after I've had my stroke, and came to live with Lynn, my partner.
Yeah.
So I've been down here now 12 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a Cockney boy now.
That's Steve Davis land, I think, isn't it? Romford in Essex.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I haven't met him yet. But
No.
there again, I ain't been up those snooker halls.
So, Duncan, people who don't know, obviously you just mentioned there you had that stroke, and how long ago was that, Duncan?
2012, I had it. I had two strokes, but I managed to get myself back a little bit now to working.
Yeah. And what did that do? Oh.
Excuse me. Oh gosh.
Bless you,
Linda. Sorry, Alex. I've just got to get.
So, Duncan, you say you had this debilitating stroke. When did that happen, Duncan?
In 2012.
And what did that?
March 2012. Well, I was starting a summer season in Blackpool with Cannon Ball, and 2 nights before we opened, I had the stroke, and of course I had to miss all the summer season. I didn't go on stage, and it was a bit bad, but I managed to get through it.
Mm. Was it?
I did my first show. March was about September. I started to walk a bit. I do an act from a wheelchair, but then I get up and stand up and do my impressions.
Yeah.
So I'm still funny.
You are still funny, Duncan.
I've changed my catchphrase, Alex, from chase me to push me. But there's a lot more people in worse position. That's what it's taught me. You think you're worse off, but you're not. There's people who have a stroke who can't talk. They end up and they can't talk, and they lose a lot more mobility than what I have. I've been lucky to get my leg back.
Yeah.
I can walk. I can actually hold my weight and walk with a stick, obviously, but I'm getting stronger every day. But there's some people who don't get that.
Yeah.
They suffer worse. So thank the Lord that he looked after me a little there, I feel.
Yeah. And when it happened, Duncan, how soon after having the stroke were you kind of concerned that this was going to change your life forever? Did you know straight away?
Yes, I did, more or less. Yes, because the doctor came round to me, the consultant, and he told me exactly what stroke I'd had, because there are several strokes you can have: a bleed, a blockage, and then there's different names they have. And I had the worst one. I had the worst stroke, and he said, you won't talk, you won't be able to talk very well, and we're going to give you a speech therapist. And you know, Alex, the speech therapist come, and it was this Geordie lady. She was from Newcastle, and me lying there, you know, I thought I can't help but be funny. I said to her, I said, "Where are you from, love?" She says, I'm from Newcastle, pet." And I said, "Oh, right, okay." She says, "There's some sounds I want you to make." I says, "Okay, you do them and I'll follow." She goes, I. And I thought, I'll end up speaking like a Geordie here in 6 months. I'll be going on stage saying, "Chase me, you bonny lad," you know. And I thought, no, it can't happen. It can't be a Geordie woman, surely. But thank God I had her, because she actually made me talk quicker.
How long did that take, Duncan? How long did it take to get, you know, your speech back to a level that you were reasonably happy with?
Probably 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But the impressions didn't come back that quick. And my singing voice I lost, you know. It affected my vocal cords. Because, you know, your brain is so complicated, it just affects every part of your body. And you don't know, they haven't found out how to wire it back when you've had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have been better having a heart attack, because well, I did have one of those 3 weeks after. And the heart attack I managed to get to come out of it quite strong. You know, they put a splint in me, one of my valves leading to my heart, and touch wood, it's been okay since.
Yeah.
But the stroke, it just destroys your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get signals trying to move your right hand. You got to send a signal to it, and it don't pick it up.
No.
As your brain just sends signals to all parts of your body.
Yeah.
So my left side, you know, I lost the use of my left side.
Yeah. And
Yes.
has that led you to do, you know, have you learned to study your complication then, Duncan? Did you, you know, has it made you intrigued by having suffered
Yes,
a stroke?
it has, Alex. Yeah, I did a lot of reading up on it when I was in the hospital. You know, I had to try and get it through to me what had actually happened, because I was there and lying there at night in the bed, and I thought, is this the end of my career? You know,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
thought I can never walk on a stage again. You know,
What
it's
did
a
that?
lot to take in
Yeah.
straight away.
That must have been really odd, Duncan. That.
You know,
I mean, you know,
yeah, what's that?
you know, you're one of those. You know, I have to say to you, Duncan. You know, people like yourself, people like Les Dawson. You were the catalyst for
Oh,
my
yeah.
my massive love affair with.
Yeah, I just came along at the right time, and I did it. I did it, making it. Should I say, a camp-friendly person, you know, and I was very clean, not like the comics today. I was very clean and very talented at the time, so everything went great for me on telly, and I mean, I'd been doing the clubs for 10, 15 years before the opportunity came along. It wasn't like I was put on telly, then learned the act.
No.
I'd learned the act in the roughest of places, and I built it up. And when I got my television opportunity, I grasped it with both hands, and the rest is history. You know, all the things I've done on telly, that Des O'Connor, blankety blank, you know, Bob's Full House, Bob's Uncle's Chat Show. So it was
Duncan,
very good.
when you were setting out, I mean, we're talking, well, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, aren't we? When you were setting out, that idea of playing a gay man. I mean, everybody at the time, you were a little bit like Boy George, because people were saying,
Yeah.
"Is he gay? Is he really gay?" And obviously, well, say obviously, but you're not a gay man. But was that was, I suppose that was quite brave to do that, wasn't it, back then?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't using the gay side of it in a funny way. I have so many gay friends who say you don't take the mickey out of us. The jokes were all based around me, but I always used to put a nice little tag on it that would keep them wondering about me.
Yeah,
Like my sister married a funny fella, and on the wedding night she took all the clothes off and jumped into bed. He took all his off, put hers on, and disappeared. I found him, and I'd end him with that little tag. I found
yeah,
him, as if I was the only one who knew where he was. But so I did it in a nice way,
yeah.
I mean, I had great friends in the business that were gay. Larry Grayson, I worked with Larry several times.
Yeah,
And then Danny DeRue was one of my biggest friends.
yeah. I was
So
I was talking to one of your good mates
it was,
who was on the Godcast, Duncan, Billy Pierce. I was chatting to Billy.
he's as mad as two frogs. Oh, he is lovely. He is. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. He's lovely, isn't he? He
He
rings
is.
me up and he says, "Now, what do you think, Duncan? What do you think? Do you think I ought to open with that one, or should I do a skipping routine?" I'll tell you when. I tell him, I say to him, "I'll tell you when. Laugh when I'll tell you when to laugh." You know.
Yeah,
And
a
I
funny
said to
guy.
him, I said, "Look, Billy, yeah, just do what you want." Talented lad,
Yeah,
very talented.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
there's
great,
a
great singer,
yeah, there was
great, great dancer.
a slight bit
His
of
mum,
cat.
his mum was in the show business.
Yes, he was telling me about her being
Pardon?
a leader of the dance troupes and things.
Yeah.
where did your first love of comedy come from, Duncan? Can you remember what you were laughing to as a
Um,
young guy?
I mean, I was looking at all the comics at the time. Les Dawson. You mentioned some of them.
Mm,
Les Dawson, Bob Monkhouse, Tommy Cooper. I used to love watching Saturday Royal Live. I used to love watching the Palladium, which I eventually appeared on twice.
mm.
And those were the great days. I feel I've had the best days of it. Show business in its best times were like 70s and 80s for me, Alex.
Mm.
When you had those comics around.
They were the golden years, weren't they? They really were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were great years.
I remember, Duncan. I used to come to. Well, I was brought up on summer season shows, and it was all my dad's fault. And I remember the first show I went to see was Jim Davidson down in Bournemouth. But from then on in, I would
Yeah,
I would go to every summer season I possibly could. I've seen you a few times in Blackpool, and
yeah,
Camden Ball. They really were golden days, weren't they? I remember the summer seasons running for 15, 16 weeks, and most nights that you were playing to full houses. And
your battery's going. Hang on, Alex. I might have to.
No, you're all right.
I'm all right.
Yeah, but it says, oh, you can't see yourself. It's just being verbally recorded, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's all right. That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
okay, my love.
Sorry, Alex. Where were you?
Yeah, just tell us about those great days on the summer seasons, the memories of doing 10, 15 weeks in a resort.
Yeah, I did the North Pier for a season, which was about 18 weeks. The South Pier I did with Frank Parson, myself, and two other comedians. It was called The Comedian Show. And then I did the first one, was about 1984. I was on South Pier with Frankie Vaughan and Norman Collier. Another funny man.
I was,
Oh, hello. Yeah, he was great. He was.
yeah, I think I came to that one. I really, I think, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah. And what do you
Frank
think?
Carson.
What do you think it was, Duncan, about the summer seasons that kind of, you know, you were all big stars in those days, weren't you?
Yeah, we were, because there was lots of people there. It was the traditional family holiday, you know, for a lot of people. And there were so many great stars to go and see. So your mum and dad would take you to see them. I mean, I remember going to see Shirley Bassey the first time I went to Blackpool with my mum and dad, because my mum loved Shirley Bassey.
Yeah.
And then it was ironical, it was about 12 years later after that I worked with her in Blazers at Windsor. I was supporting Shirley Bassey.
Wow.
So that was an amazing time in my life. That was.
I'm sure it was. Yeah. What was she like, Duncan?
Was
she a diva?
Oh gosh, yeah. We had a power cut one night, and she was on stage singing Goldfinger. And when the lights went out, she just stormed off, and she walked down the walkway to the dressing rooms. And I was sat there waiting to go on, and she says, "You won't be going on tonight. There's a power cut, you know." And I said, "Oh, right, okay." And then all of a sudden, I see her come back, and she's in a silver dress, which is absolutely amazing. The gold one was amazing, but the silver one was even better. And then she said they got the lights on and the power back, and she walked out and started Goldfinger halfway through, you know, Goldfinger. And there she is in this dress. And she said to everybody, she said, "Let's face it, you saw the first one." And as if to say, I've got plenty of these dresses, you know, but I've just got one in gold. But she was amazing. I mean, she was a diva, but what an incredible woman.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Duncan, let me ask you about your catchphrase, "Chase me." How important was that to you, the success of your career? Those two words.
Oh, very important. Very. I mean, when I first did it on television, on the line, when Lionel Blair saw me in a club, he decided to put me on telly on this new show he was doing, Saturday Royal. Every Saturday, different acts coming on, and him doing the singing and dancing routines, and then letting different acts do their bit. You know, a singer would do a couple of songs, and a comedian would do 10, 15 minutes. And it was bringing new talent to the TV screen for people, but it was also, you know, helping people up the ladder, which was good of Lionel to do it. I mean, he's still one of my best friends. He loves me because I always say it was Lionel Blair that put me on telly, and he, you know, we met the other day again. For a long while we hadn't seen each other, and Jess Conrad was at this function, and I'd walked in a bit late with Lynn. I was holding Lynn's arm, and we're going in to take our seats, and the guy at the microphone said, "Oh, and here comes Duncan Norvelle, ladies and gentlemen," and they all stood up and clapped me in.
Oh.
And Jess Conrad stood up, and he said, Duncan, I'm here," you know, and he's got this really gold outfit on, and he looked amazing, didn't he, Lynn?
Yeah.
He looked absolutely fabulous. And I just said, "Oh," I turned around and I said, "Oh, I thought you were part of a cake decoration." And then all of a sudden, Lionel come from the other side, he run across and he says, "Darling, my Duncan." And Jess Conrad's had his nose pushed out ever since. And he just threw his arms around me and gave me a kiss on my cheek and said, how are you, darling? I says, I'm all right. I'm all right, I'm here. And it was wonderful to me, you know, and that was the way to make an entrance being late, you know.
Yeah. Duncan,
But
in all that, Duncan, in that adversity of having a stroke, how important has your sense of humour been to you and to Lynn to get you through that? Has it been one of the key ingredients to actually helping you cope?
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, to be honest, I owe an awful lot to Lynn, because without her, I wouldn't have been performing again, I don't feel. You know, she got me back to something, you know, to get on stage, to get that, how can I put it, nerve back in my body that made me want to get on there and do it again. But I found it easier than when I first ever went on stage to come back after a stroke, because my public were behind me all the time.
Yeah. You don't
They
want to
were
get
great.
you don't want to get on the stage out of pity, do you? You want to get on the stage to give
No,
people a
there's no
laugh. And I
pity.
suppose,
When I go out there, I do have a go at them, you know. So I've still got that cheekiness where,
you have.
and I don't know. You better ask Lynn the rest. What do you think, Lynn? Have I been easy to live with?
Are you there,
Well,
Lynn?
let's put that.
What's it
Let's
like
put
for
that
you,
this,
Lynn?
Alex. He is a very funny man, and he always sees a funny side of every situation, even his own. When he goes on stage, you know, he will never be rude to anybody, but he can say things about himself that aren't offensive because it's about himself, but he says it in a funny way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, has he told you his new catchphrase?
Yeah.
Oh, you told him?
He told me that.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and he says things like, because he's lost the peripheral vision on his left-hand side from his, you know, his eyesight, he always says, you know, with all the people in the middle and over to my right, good evening to those on the left. I don't know why you bother coming, because I can't see you over there.
He's still got.
But he says it cheekily.
Lynn,
he's very cheeky.
He's still got that glint in his eye, hasn't he?
Oh, without a doubt. And everybody says about his smile. I put some new pictures on the internet, and everybody says, you know, he's recognizable by his smile and obviously his catchphrase, but it's his smile that's got him through many doors and out of lots of situations, shall we say.
Lots of windows as well.
Duncan, do your fans sometimes get upset when they see you because you're incapacitated in some way?
We did at one place.
Yeah, they did at one place.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Duncan did Park Dean. He did a Park Dean holiday park.
Yeah.
For the people in Devon, for
Yeah.
the people that own the caravans and the homes there. And I've got it on video. They did a 4.5 minute standing ovation. And as I zoomed around with the camera, you can see people wiping their eyes. And they weren't the women. They were the men, big men with big tummies with pints of beer. You know, they'd been crying with laughter. And at the end, they were crying. And I found it quite overwhelming, really, because Duncan couldn't see that.
No.
Because of the lights from the spotlights, but I could. And I've got it on video. Unfortunately, Duncan never knows when to come off stage once he's on it.
They call me the son of Doddy now, Alex.
Yeah, never knows when to come off.
Yeah, the son of Doddy. I mean, I do a lot of charity shows. I mean, I always have. And they say, will you come along and do 10 minutes? And I say to them, look, it takes me 10 minutes to get on there. You know, by the time I say hello, I said, that's my time, and say goodbye, I have to walk back. I said, I'm sorry, you have to give me half an hour. And are you sure? I said, yeah, that'd be better. Give me half an hour and I'll do you half an hour. and that's what I do.
Did
Right.
you tell him about Spain?
I know, it's all right, that one.
What, 4.5 hours?
Yeah, I did
No,
4.5
No.
4.5 hours on a club in Spain.
They 2 hours 35 minutes, and when I said, "Come on, Duncan, you've got to come off," and the man, all the men and the ladies were saying, "Leave him alone, leave him alone. He's doing great. Leave him there." 2 hours and 35 minutes. He eventually came off after 2 hours and 45 and did all the rest, talking to everybody.
Yeah,
4.5 hours.
I had a quick drink and went back out. They were a wonderful audience, though. They were just there.
They enjoyed it.
Any comic with that audience would have loved it. It was great to try out new material, everything, you know. So.
And Duncan, regarding material, even now, are you still on the hunt for new stuff? Do you get ideas, or do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the while, I'm looking for nice gags that suit me, not necessarily gags that shock people or any racist gags or anything. No, I'm not into that. But I will like say I've just been for an Indian or something, you know, and I will comment on how good it was and how much I'll regret it in the morning. And you know, I do mention a few little bits, and I did say once, I said we've got a new Chinese in our village. I said it's open 24 hours, as much as you can eat for £5. I says they only give you one chopstick though, you know. And then I say, and it's open 24 hours non-stop. It's called Walk Around the Clock. and really stupid stuff, but they're not bad racist jokes, if you get what I mean.
No, I don't think they're offensive at all.
No, and I get away with them, but then if anybody pulled me up on it after my show, you know, I'd drop them straight away. But so far, the last 2 or 3 shows I've done have been fine. Nobody's said anything. But I do want to go on and just make them laugh and come off, and they've had a good night, you know. And when I can get my singing voice back together, then I'll be able to really show them a bit of special things, you know, because I had a damn good voice.
Yeah, yeah. People just people will remember that you did the stand up and you did impressions and you'd sing as well. You were full on showman, weren't you?
Yeah, very much. But there are still some great acts out there. We've just got to make sure it comes back, the business. You know, once we get over this awful pandemic.
Yeah, I was talking to. I'm sure you'll know Jimmy Cricket.
Yeah, I know Jimmy's a lovely lad. And
he was saying how, you know, how fortunate he felt because he's in the golden years of his career, and he's had a wonderful career. But there's a lot of jobbing comics out there, Duncan, aren't there? Who, you know, their lifeline has been just cut, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't worked now for 2 years. You know, I got myself together 2 years ago, and I mean, I was flying again, and then this hit. And so now I've got to go out and do it all again. But the 2 years, it's given me a chance to get a bit fitter. So I'll be able to.
But the thing is, Duncan, people will come and see.
You know,
people will come and see you because they know you, won't they? You've got you know.
I've got a big fan base, and I love my fans. I really do. They've kept me where I am, and they've kept me going more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, I've received some lovely emails and messages. When it was my birthday, I think I got about 1,000, 2,000. Congratulations, you know, although I don't like being reminded of birthdays when you start to get a bit older now.
No.
But you know, you're getting old when you put your pants on back to front and they still fit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I've got a lovely shot of your ceiling, Duncan.
you got so hot.
I've got a lovely shot of your ceiling.
Oh, sorry. I'll show you my chandelier. Hang on.
Oh, that's very good.
No, so really, Alex, I mean, that's it. Listen, my charge is going, Alex, in this phone.
Yeah. Well, listen, Duncan, it's been lovely talking to you, and I'm glad you're.
Yeah.
I'm glad
If at any time you want me to do another one, I'd love to come on.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah. And if you've got any shows coming up, Duncan, then just let me know, and we can have a chat about it. And particularly if you're coming up north, if you're heading up to the northwest, and
so where are you based?
well, I'm in Burnley. I'm not far from Blackpool, about half an hour from Blackpool.
Yeah, I know Burnley.
And I've always followed the comics.
Okay, well, I'll keep in touch.
Yeah, keep in touch and get that singing voice going, Duncan. And your fans will love listening to this. And if they want to,
can you send me your address? Just send me on message or email, whatever.
Yeah,
and send me your address, and I'll send you my new album. Have you heard of my album?
Well, I know you're a singer, and I can't say. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll send it. Yeah, I think you'll like the music.
Lovely, yeah.
Okay.
If you could sign it, Duncan, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and so anybody who likes listening to these podcasts, there's loads of comedians on there. We've got Billy Pearce on, Jimmy Cricket, and a few of the more recent guys, Justin Morehouse. So just check out the Godcast, and we'll say
Justin, he's a nice guy.
He's a lovely guy. He really is. Yeah, and he's funny as well. Very funny.
Oh yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah. All right, Duncan. Well,
he's one I like of the alternate side. Yeah. Okay, Alex, that's fine.
Lovely talking to you, and send my love to Lynn, please. And
yeah, I will.
And thanks so much for coming on the Godcast.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Do you finish with your catchphrase, Don?
Go on, chase me.
Bye.
I've changed it now to push me. Yeah. All right then, Alex.
God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.